Hello there, this is Ty the Movie Guy, and today we're going to do a bit of a one-off video that I haven't done in quite some time. Today we're going to count down 5 legacy sequels that I want to be made.
Fire, you son of a... Great power comes great responsibility.
My brother had a sword!
You do this all day. I am Iron Man. Why so serious?
So I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
This is a bit of a sequel itself to an older video I made called Top 10 Movies That I Want to Be Made. So yeah, it's kind of in the same vein of just me like spitballing random movie ideas and like giving a bit of a plot and certain stuff like that. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, definitely go check out that older video of mine. And so before we get started, I just want to kind of like specify what I define as like a legacy sequel. I don't know if there's like any specific kind of like definition to it, but me personally, what I consider a legacy sequel is just, you know, a sequel to a film that the original is like, you know, typically 20 years or older that's come out. But with this video, I'm gonna make a bit of an exception with one film in particular that it's not quite 20 years old, but I just wanted to talk about a sequel idea. Anyways, so with all that said, let's get started. Coming in 5th place, we have Austin Powers 4. And I don't know if I've ever talked about Austin Powers on this channel before, but I am a big fan of that whole trilogy. Those movies are easily like some of my favorite comedy movies of all time, and I would love to see a 4th film. And specifically with the 4th film, the 3rd movie really set up a lot in like the very end of it, like Dr. Evil like becoming a good guy, and then his son Scott Evil like becoming the new Dr. Evil. So if they were to flesh that out in like a full movie, I think that would like make for like a really good plot of Austin Powers and Dr. Evil as like this buddy cop kind of comedy movie working together to defeat his son. And specifically with Austin Powers, one of the most famous things about that whole trilogy is the fact that Mike Myers plays so many of the characters. So realistically, you just need like Mike Myers back and Seth Green to play Scott Evil, and those are like the 2 actors you really need for an Austin Powers movie. And then like, you know, some of the side characters like Frau and Basil, and unfortunately the guy who did play Mini-Me, I think he did pass away, so I don't know if you were to recast him or just kind of write him out somehow and then bring in like a new love interest for Austin Powers and all of that fun stuff. I think this would just make like for a really good movie. And I think they also did like a Super Bowl commercial with all these characters older, like in like the modern day. I don't know if it was for Starbucks, or maybe I'm just thinking of like an actual scene from the movie. Just seeing that like Super Bowl commercial a couple years back got me really excited. Like, damn, this would like actually make for a really good movie. Or I don't know if I'd say really good, because I think the 90s is kind of like the prime decade for comedy movies, like where anything prior is just kind of out of touch, and then anything later is just kind of not funny, what I find funny. But I think the 90s is just basically the perfect decade of what I consider just like perfect comedy. So like just thinking back to like Happy Gilmore, how they absolutely dropped the ball with that sequel. And so I'm worried they would kind of be like that. Just, yeah, like 90s, just the comedies in the 90s were just so good that if you were to like bring it into the 21st century, I don't know how well the comedy would do, but I would still quite like to see it. Just like Happy Gilmore, it's like I don't know how good it would be, but just to see these characters returning and see what they're up to and see their shenanigans one more time would all be really, really cool. So that's why Austin Powers comes in 5th place. Coming in 4th place, we have Up 2, and this is the movie I was talking about where it hasn't actually been 20 years since the original film. But let's just say someone at Pixar actually watched this video and said, hey, that's a good idea, let's make that. By the time they were to like animate the whole movie and like actually create the film, it would be probably like 2029 by then. So, you know, that's like my little workaround basically. So it's like 4 years off, but come on, just give it to me. I want to talk about Up 2. So with Up 2, right off the bat, I'm sorry to do this, but Carl and Doug, we gotta kill them. we just gotta kill him for my new Up plot, because in this Up I want Russell to be like a full grown adult. So if Russell is like fully grown up, that would mean Carl and Doug have kicked the bucket. So unfortunately they are not in the movie, but on the bright side, yeah, Russell is all grown up and he is a father. And so let's just say, you know, Russell's got like, I don't know, 2 kids, and so for shits and giggles, he goes on like a new adventure back to where it all started in South America and stuff like that. And then, you know, he meets Kevin again, and then like Kevin's babies, and then introduce like I don't know if I'm retreading the original too much if I were to say like bring in another hunter who wants to go after Kevin and his babies. I think that's kind of a cool idea, but also at the same time I kind of see the similarity. So, but that's just kind of me spitballing. Yeah, bring in like a new hunter character who wants to go after Kevin and his babies. But where this film differs from the original, how about instead of like the whole movie taking place in South America, the hunter actually somewhat succeeds and like brings, I don't know if it's Kevin and the babies or just like the babies, but yeah, the hunter succeeds this time and actually takes them back to America, kind of like King Kong, if you will, and then like puts them on display and everything. And then there's like this whole heist scenario where Russell and his kids have to like break into some fancy zoo or something like that and get them out and all of that. So yeah, that's just my general idea. I can kind of see that it does tread on a little one. I feel like it might be a little too similar, but I don't know. I'm no screenwriter, so give me a little bit of a break. But yeah, that's just my little rough idea for an Up 2. I just think having like Russell grown up and having kids, and then like, you know, showing them what he did as a little boy and stuff like that and whatever. And, you know, maybe even like, because the original Up, the house like perfectly landed on the side of that cliff, like have them like rediscover that and Russell show that to his kids and all that stuff. And I don't know. So yeah, that's my rough Up idea. I don't know, it might be too similar to the original, but either way, I think it would make for quite a cool sequel. Coming in third place, we have School of Rock 2. And this is the only movie on this list that I only watched for the first time just a couple years ago. Like every other movie on this list is like very nostalgic to me in my childhood and stuff like that. But this one in particular is a weird scenario where it's one of those movies that was just always playing on TV as a kid. And so I just get like little snippets of the movie. And then finally, like 3 years ago, I watched the whole thing and I really dug the whole movie. And I'm like, damn, this would make for a really good legacy sequel. And my whole idea for that sparked from just the cast like saying how they would love to be in a sequel. And so I'm pretty sure Jack Black has said it a couple times, and then a bunch of like the kid actors have also said it before too. So yeah, I would love to see like all the kids growing up and what they're up to, and like them working their own jobs. And then I would love to see like what Jack Black's character is up to, if he's like some big musician star, but for my plot idea is, you know, he was a big star, and then now he's like down in the dumps and he's like super broke and everything like that. And, you know, he needs money for some particular reason. I don't know what, just like, I don't know, his mom's dying, or he needs to pay his taxes or something like that, or he needs to buy his house back, or I don't know, just make up something for him to need money for some reason. And then so the whole movie is like, we gotta get the band back together. So, you know, he goes around and then he picks up like the old kids, and then they gotta like, I don't know, relearn how to play and everything like that for some big competition or tournament or whatever, battle of the bands. And then yeah, they win, they make the money, and then all is well. So yeah, that's my rough idea. It feels like very cliche, like I feel like I've seen this movie before, but you know, I think it would still be cool just to see like what these characters are up to and all of that. Just so yeah, I feel like I'm giving like the most basic plots ever, but you know, I'm no screenwriter. I'm sure someone can make something way better, but that's just like my rough idea. I heard like lots of the actors, they would love to be in a sequel, and then and Richard Linklater, the director, he's still pretty active with movies and whatever, so I'm not sure if he would want to do a sequel, but since he's still like active in everything, and he's like a big director, I would love to see him come back for the sequel and everything. So yeah, all in all, that's my general idea, and that's why it comes in third place. Coming in second place, we have The Mummy 4, and I love the original Mummy film. If it wasn't for Indiana Jones just absolutely dominating the adventure genre, The Mummy would probably be like my favorite like adventure film, but you know, it's just Indiana Jones is just too good that this movie gets like unfortunately swept under the rug from time to time. And one of the reasons why I love The Mummy so much is, of course, our leading man, Brendan Fraser. He's just so funny and charismatic that he just makes for such a great lead in this film. And I just love that he's had such a return lately with films like Killers of the Flower Moon, The Whale, and like Rental Family coming up and all of that good stuff. Because, you know, Brendan Fraser plays such a big part in my childhood with, you know, of course, The Mummy and Furry Vengeance and Looney Tunes Back in Action. So yeah, he played such a big part in my childhood that I'm so glad he's coming back with so many different films. And one of those films I would love to be The Mummy 4. Yeah, mainly just to like see Brendan Fraser once again and see him in one of the roles that I really loved him in as a little kid. So yeah, I don't know what the plot would be exactly, once again, I'm not a screenwriter, so it's gonna come across as like really kind of basic, but I would love to see, you know, the original Mummy come back. I'm pretty sure his name was Imhotep. I'd love to see him return somehow, and then of course Brendan Fraser, and then his wife, and then the wife's brother, and then that also cool Egyptian guardian guy. I would love to see them all come back and try to like take him down one last time, and I don't know what you would do for that whole scenario, but yeah, that's my basic plot. Bring back the original Mummy, and then they have to stop him. It's so basic, but yeah, just like, I don't know, someone could make that into like something cool or whatever, just like that. But yeah, this is mainly just to see Brendan Fraser in a role that I really love him in. So yeah, all in all, that's why The Mummy comes in second place. But coming in first place, we have Spider-Man 4. And if you are living under a rock for some reason, you would of course know that this movie was supposed to come out. And I was too young at the time to like know the whole story or like be a part of the whole story. But if I were to be like old enough at that time, I would have been absolutely heartbroken to find out that Spider-Man 4 was canceled and rebooted into The Amazing Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, Andrew Garfield did a great job and everything as Spider-Man, but oh my god, just a new Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire would have been absolutely crazy. And of course, since his return in No Way Home, I think there is actually the slightest possibility we could actually see this movie now. Maybe after most likely return in Secret Wars, we can see something like this. Like, Sony, come on, like, why are you giving us Madam Web and Craven and Morbius and all that shit when you could just literally print money with the Spider-Man 4 movie? It would be so amazing. So my idea for a Spider-Man 4 is not really my idea at all. It's basically just like what it should have been like when it originally came out back in like, I don't know, 2011 or whatever like that. The original idea with like a couple tweaks or whatever is, you know, Peter Parker, he's like a father now. He's old basically. He's with MJ and he's got like a couple kids and all that fun stuff. I don't know if I'd want him to keep being Spider-Man this whole time, or he's taking a break to be a family man. Maybe I would probably have him on a break being a family man and all of that. And then of course, a new threat emerges. And if it were me, I would definitely pick Mysterio and Vulture as our two villains, because those are, I think they were like the original villains that were supposed to be in Spider-Man 4. And if I were to cast them, I would do John Malkovich, Vulture, and Bruce Campbell Mysterio, because my own headcanon, I don't know if this was ever confirmed or not from like Sam Raimi, or since Bruce Campbell shows up in each Spider-Man movie playing a different character, I like to think of it as like Mysterio like learning about him and just kind of spying on him, and like is just learning his weaknesses and doing stuff like that. And it would just perfectly set up like a Spider-Man 4 for him to be like, I was there all along, Peter Parker, learning about you, how to defeat you, and all that cool stuff like that. So I think that would just be really, really cool for him to be spying on Peter this whole time to finally emerge to fight him in Spider-Man 4. And then, you know, John Malkovich Vulture is also there just because I think he was also originally supposed to be in the 4th film. So just have him as the side villain or whatever. He was probably meant to be the main villain, but I think Bruce Campbell Mysterio would be a lot cooler. And unfortunately, with these villains, we of course have already seen them in the Tom Holland films, so it would kind of be retreading a little bit of stuff, but I honestly don't care. I just think it'd be so cool to have Bruce Campbell Mysterio, who's been there all along and stuff like that. But also, it wouldn't make too much sense that, you know, Spider-Man 3 came out in 2007, so that was like quite a while ago. So it would be really weird for Bruce Campbell to be like spying on him all this time just to not attack, to like wait so long to finally attack. So I don't know how you like write a way to give him a reason to like wait so long to finally take his strike and stuff like that. And so I don't know how you would like write a reason for that and stuff like that, but I'm sure someone can make it work. But yeah, that's all I really want. Tobey Maguire Peter Parker as like an old family man who's long retired, and then Bruce Campbell Mysterio and John Malkovich Vulture come back for some sort of revenge or some reason like that, and then he has to don the cowl one last time to take them down. I think would be really, 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 really cool. That is my list. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have to say about Spider-Man besides the fact that I love Tobey Maguire Spider-Man so much. Tell me some legacy sequels you would love to see, and if my ideas are cool, and how shitty of a script writer I would be, even though that's something I did want to be growing up. All in all, that's about it, and farewell.